Namaste. It's time for our ASMY cooking class. Today we're cooking a golden carrot cake. This is from the Gold Coast cooking cookbook. They've got a lovely cookbook. And this is the bomb. This is the best carrot cake I've ever had. So I thought we would do this and put it on the website for you. And also on Facebook, so you can learn how to make this really delicious carrot cake. So it's vegan. I am going to be using a cream cheese topping, but I'll give you the option of the lemon frosting. I'll give you the option of the lemon frosting, which is a vegan version. So what we're going to be doing is mixing the dry ingredients into one bowl, the wet ingredients into another bowl, and then we're going to combine them. That's all there is to it. Very, very simple recipe. So we've got 3 cups of self-raising flour. We're just going to sift that into a bowl. So sifting the flour makes the cake lighter. And then we've got 3 cups of grated carrot. Throw that in. We have a cup of walnuts. Half a teaspoon of salt. I use the pink Himalayan salt. And we have a teaspoon or more of cinnamon. I've probably got a little bit more than a teaspoon here because I really like cinnamon. And then we just mix this really well so that the carrot is completely covered in the flour. Better put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Can't see a thing without them these days. So mix that really well, and that's all there is to that part of the recipe. So we'll pop the wet ingredients into another bowl now. We have got 2 cups of raw sugar. We have a cup of oil. I'm using rice bran oil, but any sort of oil that's not going to flavour the cake. So rice bran, sunflower oil is good. I wouldn't use something like peanut oil or sesame oil. That's going to really make it taste really strong. We have got half a cup of coconut yogurt. You can use dairy yogurt if you're not a vegan. It will work exactly the same. And we're going to put half a teaspoon of baking soda or bicarb soda into 1/4 cup of milk of your choice. I'm just going to get a spoon. Just stir that in a little bit. And then we throw that in. So we're using soy milk here, but you can use almond milk, macadamia milk. You can use cow's milk if you prefer. So we're just going to whisk. I find the whisk is easier to use for the wet ingredients. And this sort of just melts the sugar down a little bit as well. Okay, so we've got our 2 mixtures now. We're going to add the wet to the dry. So you just make a bit of a well in the center. And then you add the wet ingredients. And we're going to fold that through. As with all cakes, or most cakes, you don't want to be mixing it too much. Just enough to get it fully mixed thoroughly, because otherwise you'll end up with a rubbery cake. You just sort of fold it through gently. Okay, we have a nice cake mix here, fully mixed. So now we're going to place our mixture into a cake tin. We've got a rectangular size cake tin. I'm not sure exactly what that size that is, but it's a little bit bigger than one of those square cake tins. Probably a Lamington tin size. I'll measure it and put it in the description. We've got hundreds and hundreds of cake tins here for the mantra room. We've done a lot of cooking over the years. And I think what happens is a lot of people donate. Sometimes people bring a cake along and they leave their cake tin behind. They never pick it up again, so we end up with a lot of cake tins. So we'll just make sure that's nice and smooth so you don't end up with a really lumpy looking cake. Okay, and that's going to go into a preheated oven on a moderate temperature for around about 40 minutes until you can feel the top, it springs back to place, and then you insert a sharp knife or a toothpick and it comes out clean. So put it right in the middle, and that's always the last part to cook. And if that comes out clean, then it's ready. So we'll pop this in the oven now. So the cake's in the oven. I'm going to make the icing now. I'm going to make a cream cheese and lemon frosting. So we've got a block of cream cheese, so 250 grams. I've got 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, but you can use orange. Orange is very nice with this one as well. We've got a tablespoon of lemon rind. You could use orange rind if you're using oranges. And we have 1 cup of icing sugar. And we're just going to make sure you've got a bowl with high sides, because it'll tend to flick up. I think if you've made icing before, you'll know what I mean. So start off on a low speed. Okay, and there you have a really delicious icing or frosting for the cake. So I like to mix it up until it sort of looks like it's sort of got peaks on it, just like when you're whipping cream. So it gets that whipped cream look to it, and you know that it is mixed well enough. So I'll be back soon once we get the cake out of the oven, and I'm going to wait for it to cool, and we're going to ice it. So I'll be back a little later on. Okay, so the carrot cake is out of the oven and it has cooled down. So we're going to pop it out. And we're going to ice it. This looks pretty good. There you go. How easy was that? It's a really good cake and so simple to make. And honestly, I think it's one of the best carrot cakes I've ever had. So give it a try and see how you go. So if you have some success with it, let us know in the comments. We love to hear people's stories of their cooking adventures. So we're just going to cut this now, cut a slice, give it a little try. Look at that. Super moist. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful and moist. Plenty of goodness in there with all the carrots and the walnuts, and the cream cheese icing just finishes it off. So thank you very much, and I'll see you at the next cooking class. Haribo.